Welcome back, softies, for another episode of the Soft Knocks podcast.
Welcome to the fucking show.
Getting the boat out Saturday, I hear.
Oh, yeah. Getting Anthony and his fam out.
Are you? You should pull the David line that he did. Whose boat is this?
Oh, yes. Tell him, Anthony, I want you to drive while I try and ski.
Yeah. See how it feels.
Oh, I'm going to figure out a time to pull that line out, though, for sure.
That was the best. So yeah, Adventureland is just... It was fine. The kids were good, everything. But just the people are just gross.
Probably pretty hot out there today.
It was hot.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, just ass cheeks hanging out. These are not ass cheeks you want to see.
They never are.
And we went to the Adventure Bay, the
Yeah.
water park. And I made the horrible mistake of wearing tennis shoes and socks. No sandals. And so I had to get swished into my swimming suit. And I was like walking barefoot in that bathroom. It's all wet. And like
You're just
grimy.
hoping that it's like water from the pool
Yeah.
and mud. It's not just piss and shit.
And I just felt so gross. I was going to throw up walking out there. It was awful.
I mean, Adventureland's great, but like it's sort of overpriced, I think.
Sorta. Yeah.
Compared to like a bigger, better parks. Like we went to Six Flags last year in St. Louis, and now nothing is cheap in this world. But compared to Adventureland, like everything was cheaper. It felt like.
We got 2 burgers and fries and chicken strips and fries and 2 pops, medium pops. Would you venture to guess how much that was?
So basically, like two meals.
Well, pretty much, I guess 3 meals because chicken strips and fries too.
Probably $90.
Okay, no, it wasn't that bad. 60.
Yeah, I guess.
Bad enough.
Yeah. No,
God.
that's just terrible. And it's not like it's like great,
No, it's just
spectacular food. You should have done what we do when we go to Adventureland.
sneak.
Like, we pack a cooler, leave it in the car, and then go back out to the car and eat lunch at the car. Sandwiches, chips, pop, all of that.
We did eat before. I didn't think we were going to stay that long. We ended up getting hungry, so we had to eat again.
Yeah.
Yeah, we closed it down pretty much.
Does it cost extra to go to the Adventure Bay? Or whatever. Is that what it's called? Yeah.
I don't think, unless JD did some deal online that I don't know about, I don't think so. Yeah.
Well, kids must have had fun.
Oh, they did. They rode everything except they wouldn't do the roller coasters, like the main 3 roller coasters. They didn't want to do them. So.
Lucy loves roller coasters. She will do any one.
Gianna did it last year. I don't know why she didn't do it this year. She said it injured her last year, the Outlaw. It is a little bumpy, but...
Yeah, that one. I'm not a big fan of that one either.
But the water ride we went down, it's like a giant slide with a big inner tube. Fits like 6 people.
Oh, because, they don't have the Raging River anymore.
No. Right when I got in there, I stepped down, just squish. It was all wet. My tennis shoes, underwater, socks soaked. So I was squishing around the rest of the day. It was a terrible feeling.
Yeah, there's no good way to go about it because I can't walk around all day in flip-flops.
That's what I was thinking.
I can't do it. Like, I would my feet would be game over. Couldn't do it.
Yeah. I guess I would have been okay if we didn't do water stuff, but...
When we went to Six Flags, I remember first of all, Six Flags and Adventureland, like, there must be a company that makes these roller coasters, and they sell them to all these different places, and they just name them different things. Because you can tell,
shit.
like, it's the same. There's like some of the same shit. It's just called something different. But they have one of those the like Raging Rivers with the raft that goes through all that stuff that they no longer have at
because someone died.
Yeah, it's because one of the tubes flipped and someone died. Yeah, you get on there and it's like it's the same exact. It might even be the same exact layout. Mm-hmm.
Who is the company that does?
I don't know.
Just some mad geniuses.
It's just one. They got a monopoly on
Just a
roller
drunk
coaster
guy.
rides.
Well, it looks like a drunk guy built some of these. Like the Outlaw. Have you seen how the wood is like? Looks like it's deteriorating underneath it.
I think they do it on purpose.
Just to add to the thrill.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of it just looks like worn out wood. And
Adventureland, like when I was a kid, my dad, the company he worked for, did their like company picnic at Adventureland, and I can't remember. It must have been
it's an interesting spot.
after the fair when they did it. I don't know. I always remember my dad. Like, every time we would be at like a carnival or anything that had rides where you had to pay for them, I'd get the line. We're not paying for rides. Save it for when we go to Adventureland. On the company picnic, where the company paid for the entrance.
This is where you get it.
This is where it comes from. This is the origin story.
I respect that. My kids are such assholes. They would just break me down and be like, "God damn it!"
I think I remember Adventureland being better than what it is. Like, it's been a couple years
It
since
used
I've
to be
been
like
there.
the highlight of when I was little. We went with my cousins and
Yeah,
it was awesome. But
I don't know.
they got rid of some of the rides that were like nostalgic, like
Yeah,
Falling Star, Raging River, Loggerhead. Those are all gone.
that's
Soda and Sounds are gone. Remember that when the stage that came up from the ground and like people were.
It's amazing. Like, more people don't get hurt at these things.
It is like they're pretty safe.
Yeah, but you got like
And a lot of
like
times,
these like
the ones that are like acting out on the ride.
Yes, it's idiots not doing what they're supposed to. But you got these like, not the cream of the crop running these things.
No, these kids,
Like little teenage kids.
everyone
and
was
stuff.
stoned. I think that was running these machines today, but it killed a day. It was fun. It was fun. Good people watching.
Yeah, that's like the only reason I have any fun at those kinds of places is like the people watching. Like the state fair coming up. Like unpopular opinion, I don't like the fair.
I know you do. I with kids, I don't. When it's just adults, so when I can drink and not worry about the kids,
Yeah.
I do enjoy it.
It's just so many people.
It is. I don't know. There's something about it. I usually do one adult night, and then we take the kids there one day when it's miserable. But
Yeah,
it's coming right up.
I know. We're talking. So, me and a few of my high school buddies, we all turned 40 this summer, and so we're trying to figure out like what are we gonna do for the 40th, and like we've tossed around ideas. Like one of them wanted to go to Vegas. I don't want to go to
I remember
Vegas.
you mentioning that.
I don't want to go to Vegas and like do the whole stay out till 3 or 4 in the morning, spending $20 drinks at the club. Like, does not interest me.
I could do that one night. But if you're doing like a 4-day trip, no.
We talked about like going on like a short fishing trip, go down to like Missouri, getting a cabin, doing some fishing. I was like, yeah, let's do that. That sounds great. We can still like have a good time, but it doesn't have to be, crazy, super crazy. But,
No strippers though.
Couldn't
like Vegas.
Well, not necessarily. There's probably strippers in Missouri.
Oof.
Probably, better ones.
I probably met a few at Adventureland today.
And then that it's just impossible to get schedules lined up, and then eventually it just falls through. And they're not doing anything. And like then they started talking about the group chat started going about trying to figure this stuff out and just trying to like figure out a date.
It's hard enough for our draft.
Yeah,
We've switched it
it's
5
insane.
times. By the way, that's going to be a back-to-back for us now.
Yeah.
Right? Because the other league?
Yeah, so I was looking at that, and like, so we have, if we keep up our normal every other Thursday cadence here, we have 3 more episodes before the draft.
So countdown, the draft order.
Yeah, we'll have to do that at some point. But yeah, I was just thinking about that the other day. How like it's getting close, and like we
quick.
got the group chat all fired up about trying to figure out the draft date, and of course like.
I would rather do it the 24th just because of our schedules, but we're going to have everybody there the 31st. We got to do it. I mean,
no, that's fine. Like the way the podcast will work out is that we'll record and I'll be able to get it released like the week leading up to the draft.
So we're gonna force people to listen to this shit. If you want to know where you're drafting, my dad just throws his computer.
All of a sudden you hear a car screeching tires past your house, and like a window breaks, and it's like your dad had just whipped his laptop through your window.
You know what I hope is that like we're 1 and 2.
I figured out how we'll do it, right? So like, we've talked about this before. We've got the bingo thing, right?
You know nobody's gonna believe us.
And well, we'll just videotape it.
We could assign a number to some people, right? And
Yeah, that's what you would have to do.
Yeah.
You would put the names down, and you would say like, GW is B1, and then
are we still doing it? Like, if you don't want the number 1 pick, you're just the
I think
first
so.
option to pick.
Yeah. The only way we'll be able to do it is just is draft out the options, and then, then you'll still, as commissioner, will still have to go
that
through
day
it and figure this all out.
Yeah.
Just tell everybody that like, hey, you have to be available. I'm going to text you, and you have to be available.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure they go over real well in our league.
Yeah. I am excited for the group chat to get going, because like
I know it's pretty quiet.
It's pretty quiet, during the spring and summer.
Then you start to miss when it was quiet.
Yes. Then next thing you know, it's Sunday night at like 11:30, and my wife's like, "Why is your phone fucking buzzing?"
Because Josh Allen just threw another touchdown.
Because the game is still on TV, and they're still fighting over some week 3 win in fantasy football.
I was listening to a podcast the other day. They mentioned something about a fantasy loser punishment. Now we can't do that because we got too many old men in the league that won't do it.
Yeah.
One of them was just people get to pick a uncomfortable spot for the loser to take a shit at. Like at a concert porta potty or...
See, the worst part about that would be like who is regular enough to be able to make it happen, right?
You're just...
It's like you're just holding it in, like
just
like an
mash.
hour before you just take a bunch of...
eat a Chipotle and take a laxative.
You just like down at a bunch of laxatives.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh man, yeah. There's some pretty good punishment stuff you see all the time. Like there was one that came up where it was like last place has to they have to go spend 24 hours in a McDonald's, and then like there were some rules where like every whatever you ate, like certain things had different time values to take off your time. And like reading through the comments, just like showed up on Instagram, and like reading through the comments, like because it was like, for every sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit you ate, it took like 45 minutes off or something. And someone's just like, shit, I wouldn't have to be there at all. Yeah. Just hammer down 30 of those things to get some time back. Or there was one where
yeah, that would be doable.
Yeah, there was one where someone had to go and do a U.S. Open qualifier.
Okay, now that that would be awful. I mean, maybe not for you, but
no, that would be awful for me too. Because like those are people who
really
realistically think they have a chance of advancing. Right?
I'm just muffing it off the tee. God, they'd be so pissed.
Yeah. I guess like the guy that had to do it like just talked to his playing partners and was like, "Look, guys, I'm sorry. I will be fast. I will try and do that. I will not impact you guys as much as possible." But yeah, it was just a disaster.
Oh yeah, because those would be like not there to have fun types. They're really trying.
Yeah, probably taking it serious.
Yeah, sports-wise, there's not a ton going on. Again,
no, there's not.
I know you're not an NBA guy, but the whole Bronny James thing.
Yeah, I saw
that.
How
do you feel about that? Do you think it's... I know a lot of people are pissed because like if his name was not James, he would not be even close.
I don't even think he'd be going to the draft. He'd be going back to school.
Yeah.
Like I saw something where they had a bunch of names, like I don't know how many it was, like 20 or 30 names that were like, here's all these people, or maybe it was like even 50. Like here's all these people that were drafted between the last like 3 years, and here's what their contracts are, and then it's like Bronny gets a like fully guaranteed like $4.5 million contract, which is way bigger than the rest of them.
I hate LeBron anyway, but I mean that's just how the world works sometimes.
I guess. I haven't seen him play.
He's terrible.
But
and the summer league's going, and he's shooting. He's like 1 of 7, 2 points. Like he's just not good.
What was there? There's like talk that like a team like Boston could have snagged him right.
That would have been
before
hilarious,
the Lakers,
actually.
and then just like held him hostage and like as a trade
ransom.
chip. Yeah. That would have made it so much better.
Yeah, I wish a team did that.
Just draft him and then just bury him on like some G League team somewhere.
Yeah, a Boston team doesn't need their second round pick. Let's just,
Yeah.
why not? That would have been awesome. Really, I don't know why. Why didn't he just go back to school? Maybe he could turn into something. I don't know. I just don't get it.
Well, and then LeBron has another son who is in college or going to college, right?
I think he is maybe supposed to be a little better, but
like there's like a chance that he could technically play with both of his sons.
LeBron, so he's making it all about himself as always.
The Los Angeles LeBrons.
You know, he is a remarkable player. I just can't stand him. He's such an egotistical.
He was a remarkable player.
He still puts up numbers, but
yeah,
if you watch, it's kind of, I don't know, the league seems a little, I don't want to say watered down, but like the defense, there's just none until you get to the playoff. But what's amazing is he's his age and never had like an injury.
Yeah, like that's, I mean, the longevity of him is.
That's what impressed me more about anything with him, because he still looks really, his body is in shape. And
I saw something, and it was like the instant that Bronny plays his first game, he will already be part of the most successful father-son duo in NBA history. Points wise, because like LeBron James has what, like
is the leader all time. Yeah, because he never. I have a hard time believing that kid's gonna get maybe garbage time in the end of a blowout, but man. He's just not. He's not an NBA player.
Well, LeBron's the coach, so
yeah, that's true. JJ Redick, nothing. He's not gonna have any control. So we got the last major coming up, right?
Yeah. So the British Open is next week. Most of the players are already over in Scotland at the Scottish Open because they go over there and sort of acclimate themselves to the style of golf and play. So
yeah,
I like that tournament because of the time difference. Like it's over in the middle of the day, right? Like I'll get up like next weekend, like on Sunday, like I'll get up at like 6 a.m. It'll already be going, and like the leaders will be teeing off right around then, I think. Yeah, so like I'll be able to watch it in the morning, and
it's kind of nice.
Yes, I'll be able to watch golf, watching coffee or drinking coffee.
Yeah. Who you got?
I don't know. Part of me thinks that like this whole U.S. Open debacle with McIlroy may fire him up, and you know he may actually do something. But
he's playing well here too.
Yeah. You know, he's from over there, not, you know, he's from Ireland, but it's the same style of golf, you know. I don't know, it probably suits him. But you know what, the British Open, just asking for like no-name people that you don't see very often to compete because it's just such a different style of golf. So I don't know.
Ugly courses.
They let them burn out pretty good. It's a whole different style of golf. I saw Rory, because he just, after the U.S. Open, he just kind of disappeared for a couple weeks.
He did, yeah. I saw he released a statement.
Yeah, he did a press conference and like, you know, he had some good stuff to say or whatever. But he had some funny stuff too, because I guess a couple of people had like criticized him and his caddy for a poor choice on one of the holes, like a club choice, and he had some good remarks about that. He didn't hold anything back. He basically, like, he said, like, if you wouldn't take someone's advice, you shouldn't take their criticism. And he goes, I sure as shit wouldn't take Hank Haney's advice.
Is that who called him out?
That was one of the guys who called him out. And I'm just like, oh, that's a great line. He didn't say sure as shit, but he said something like that. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it's hard to tell. That one's, of all of the majors, that one is the least like the others.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, it's overseas, so all the American golfers, it's a whole different environment. That's why they go over there early. But
yeah. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, it'll be a fun one. You can't count Scotty out. Although
he's got to be the favorite, bro.
Yeah, I would imagine he's the one of the favorites.
What else do you want to do? Oh, let me look. Sports-wise, or you want to do?
I don't know. Honestly, I just don't know if there is much sports stuff to talk about.
Wimbledon tennis. That's all.
One of the things I'm excited for this fall is the Bears on Hard Knocks.
That's right. Didn't the Giants have something on there?
Yeah, they did some. They've done more. Like, they did an in-season Hard Knocks last year, and they did like a Hard Knocks like.
This was like a pre-draft where they were talking to the top quarterbacks.
Yeah, because some of it there was some combine stuff in it. I think I didn't watch it, but I'm pretty
Bears.
excited about it being for the Bears.
You're gonna see how fruity your new quarterback is.
Yeah, probably. Every year, like, I watch like the first episode, maybe 2 episodes of Hard Knocks, and then I just give up on it, lose interest. But I don't know. I think with the Bears, I'll actually.
Some have been better. When it first started, it was pretty good. I don't know. Maybe it's because we never seen anything like it before. Yeah, I remember the Cowboys year. That's my team, and I couldn't watch it. It was too boring.
Yeah,
just terrible.
Maybe that will be the same case with me with the Bears. It'd be the same deal where I watch one episode because I haven't seen any real football stuff.
Yeah, they just try to get to know some dude who's not going to make the team's family, and like, I don't care.
They do try and create some storylines.
They'll just show Caleb painting his nails in the morning.
It will be interesting to see how they portray him. Like, obviously they pick storylines and they try and lean things in one direction. That's like all documentaries do. But it's like, do they sit down and go, all right, so here's what we're gonna do. Like, we're gonna totally try and like fuck with Caleb, and like we're gonna portray him as like a terrible quarterback or
diva.
Do you think they ask the teams like, hey, like, these are the storylines we're thinking about going with, and they're like, you know what? We don't want people to know how good Caleb is, so can you just show his interceptions and incompletions?
I always wonder is there some stuff that's off limit? Do the teams have any say what gets cut, or just?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
I
wonder like what the contract set HBO has with like the NFL and the NFL teams, like if they have like final say, or I don't know, man. It's the NFL, so like I bet the NFL has some say. I don't know about the teams, but I bet you like the NFL's like, yeah, there's probably some stuff we don't want you to put out there if you have to catch it,
So that's our sports for the enthralling stuff.
There's just nothing going on.
No.
Even outside of sports, there's nothing going on.
Oh, there's one thing going on. I saw a headline. A couple in Georgia were arrested in a Mexican restaurant after they butt funneled a margarita. Can you imagine honey,
Wait a second.
Honey, did you bring the funnel?
Yeah, was the funnel from the restaurant, or
I don't think so. I think
they just bring their own funnel?
It was the lady who put it in her butt.
Well, you know what? That's on the restaurant.
That's what everyone's saying.
Like, you obviously overserved them. I mean, like, seriously overserved them. I'm all for having some fun when you're out, but how do you let it get to a point where...
There's a picture of it.
Oh, God. Where someone is allowed to have their funnel and shove it up their butt. Like, first of all, like, where's the funnel at? Like, just at the table, and the waiter's like...
Wait a minute. This isn't as fun. I think he just poured it down her butthole.
Oh, so there's no funnel?
Maybe, but they call it butt funneling.
Jesus. Man.
It's a way to get drunk faster. I don't know.
I feel like I should say something like, like a real old man, like this younger generation.
No, wait. I should have just read this whole story before.
You did one of these, like you just read the
Yeah.
title and then.
However, Boyette, the guy's last name, couldn't get the funnel to work, so there was a funnel. So he tossed it and poured the tequila-based beverage from the pitcher straight down his wife's butthole.
Well, if he was able to actually get it in the butthole,
Pretty good.
then they're a little deprived.
Do you think they're like, we paid for this pitcher? Why can't I? What matter?
Can I get a to-go cup for this? Sorry, sir, we don't do that for alcohol. Well, then fuck you.
Well, then I'll have my wife bend over and pour it in her asshole.
I've got my own to-go cup. I'll drink it when I get home.
He just carries her out upside down.
The straw.
Yeah. You have the straw in there. You don't want any spillage.
Oh, Jesus.
Next time we go to a Mexican restaurant, I'm just going to walk in with a funnel.
Bring a picture of that and just be like, hey, where do I get this experience?
Is it extra or we good?
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
But I guess the restaurant got like a bunch of angry families. They're like, this is a family restaurant. I'm never going here. Can you imagine your kids looking over and someone's butt funneling a margarita pitcher? That story made me smile.
Oh, man.
Oh, this world is crazy.
How old were the people?
They
Did it
looked
say?
about our age.
Yeah.
A little older. 40s, I'd say.
Oh, man, I was hoping it was the young generation.
No, this one. Let's
So
see
I could
this
shake my fist at them and tell them to get off my lawn.
Let's see. The couple were only arrested after the wife complained to the cops that their video was leaked online. So she outed herself.
So do you think the restaurant posted it?
They
Like a
had to-
security camera?
I bet just somebody was like, somebody's butt chugging a mark. I gotta film
And so
this.
some lady called the cops and said, like, hey, I need you to take this video down of me butt chugging a margarita.
Police said another explicit clip was taken from the couple that shows Sweat, the lady, exposing her breasts and Boyette putting her left breast in his mouth while she pulls him closer. These people party.
Yeah. Yeah, that's on the restaurant.
Restaurant is probing whether a so far unidentified employee was involved in the X-rated antics.
Nice choice of words. Restaurant is probing.
You know, the manager's like, I'm going to need that video to probe when I get home. I'll look it over a few times.
What news sites are you reading?
I just type in news. This is
You just Google, like, butt chugging.
This is the New York Post.
Oh, shit. Well, you know. Oh, that's hilarious.
Way better than any sports story ever.
Where did it take place?
Georgia.
Oh, you said that. You said that.
Southern Georgia. There you go.
Oh, man. I need another
It's called
beer.
the Rodeo Mexican restaurant. We have an El
It's called the Rodeo or El Rodeo?
It's simply rodeo. Or rodeo, maybe? I don't know.
There's a rodeo going on there.
Yeah. I thought this was America.
What a story.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you like to, like, you wake up, you're hungover, you don't exactly remember what happened,
There's video.
and then your neighbor calls and is like, I heard you guys had a good time at old rodeo.
Yeah. Good margaritas?
I sure hope that isn't the funnel you borrowed from me.
Yeah. Man, imagine the morning loose stools from that gal. After after taking down a margarita in the ass.
I mean, you know, I'm not a huge tequila fan, but like, so maybe this is a way I can drink tequila.
I'll bring the funnel. So I mean, they prepped, like they had a plan going to this restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
That's true. Like, it wasn't like they just got drunk and
No,
like, had some
hey,
drunken idea, like, to do this.
Mhm.
No, they had this was premeditated.
Yeah. Anyway, that's just imagine the shame at your next family get together.
I don't know.
Maybe they don't.
They
have
probably
any.
come from a family
Yeah.
that
Southern Georgia. Right.
that enjoys this kind of thing. Oh God.
All right, should we do the movie review?
Well, it's a perfect segue.
Yeah, a lot of buttholes in this. This was a request from a listener.
This was a listener fan mail request to review the Human Centipede.
And this is a movie I'd seen when it was newer.
Yeah, so actually,
And I don't remember. I may have been half watching or too drunk. I don't know.
Yeah, I realized after I watched it that I had seen the whole thing, and it came out in 2010, it was 2009 or 2010, and I'm guessing that I watched it like with some buddies drunk at one point, and because I
think it was kind of a big story because it was so shocking of a film.
Because I realized, you know, pretty early on, like, oh yeah, no, I've seen all of these scenes. But so first off, I will just say that it's not really that great of a movie. Like, even if you enjoy like a horror movie,
No.
like it's just like there isn't like some, I don't know, there's just not a lot of substance to it, I guess. It is shock. What happens.
Not a lot of action in between the shock.
Yeah.
So where do we start?
Well, I will say, like, so starting out the movie.
First of all, as if Germany wasn't scary enough.
Yes. Yeah, like, don't let your car break down in the German countryside, evidently. But, like, the movie starts out, and he's just, like, sitting there, like, crying over the picture of his 3 dog, like the 3 Rottweilers sewed together.
Yeah.
And, like, you're just like, what in the actual fuck?
So, yeah, do they ever get to why he wanted to do this? I don't even remember.
I don't know that it's in the movie. Like, I don't think you really... I didn't realize it from the movie. I just, you know, as I do, I tried to find any little nuggets of anything about the movie. And so I guess he is like some world-renowned surgeon for separating... conjoined twins. And so he had this thing for wanting to join stuff.
Yeah.
And that's as much as I
like
can
Legos.
figure out about it. Yeah.
He's a madman, pretty much. So yeah, it starts with him and then cuts to a couple girls vacationing.
Well, yeah, I mean, he there's a trucker, right?
Oh, that's right.
The trucker at the beginning who's just like
going out to
pulled
take
off
a
the side of the
shit.
room, just has toilet paper and just going to take a shit. And, gets shot with a tranq dart. Which has got to be a frightening scene when you're trying to...
Where does one buy a tranq dart?
I don't know.
Do that when you're on the clock this year.
You probably just go to like Walmart. I bet they have tranquilizer guns.
So yeah, he shoots this big guy in a movie full of craziness. This isn't that crazy, but how's he carrying this large man to his car?
It's a good question.
And then down to his dungeon.
Yeah, I mean, at first I didn't realize that it was a tranquilizer gun. Like, I was like, well, maybe he just like pointed a gun at him, like, get in my car or I'm going to shoot you. But then you realize later that it's a tranq gun, and that's a good question, right? Like, it was a big trucker.
That was a huge dude. I don't know.
Anyway, so he gets this guy down there, and then these 2 Americans are like trying to get to some club, and they end up in these backwoods somewhere, and they get like a flat tire or something. Mm-hmm. The scene, like, I don't know, they really go out of their way to like really not want you to go to Germany. Mm-hmm. Like, then this creepy dude pulls up.
Like, this guy's way scarier than Hitler. I don't.
Yeah. Well, this creepy dude just pulls up and he's like give him. He doesn't speak English.
Yeah, that fat guy.
He's just like yelling at him in German and like
saying things like
saying sexual things to him and things and like they didn't understand.
It's pretty
him.
much me after 4 beers.
And then one of the girls is like, she's like, hang on, she gets a book out like she's gonna translate some of this stuff, and she just happens to be able to turn it to the page where she's like, he said fucking.
Yeah.
Like, we're supposed to believe that you just magically found fucking in that book, which, is that really a word in the translation?
You found the most offensive sentence possible.
Right in the middle of the book, you're like, oh yeah, he said fucking. They roll the windows up and like, whatever, the guy drives off. And then they have the brilliant idea of just like walking through the woods.
That's what I was going to say. Would you get out? I wouldn't get out of the car.
I don't know what I would do in this scenario, but
I'd wait till daylight, I think, at least.
I wouldn't be walking through the woods in another country.
No. And I believe it was cold.
Yeah.
It seemed, and I think I'd just wait till morning.
Yeah, then they stumble upon the guy's house.
Which just happens to literally be the worst house you could stumble upon.
Yeah.
Not looks-wise. I mean, it's a nice house, but just what's in there. He opens the door, speaking German, I believe. Or he knows some English, I guess.
He knew some English, and he's like, I thought it was great. He goes, are you alone?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah.
That's the
and
first sign.
And he's like looking around, like making sure. He's like, come inside.
Yeah. That's the first sign to
And then he
run.
locks the door behind him.
And German is that's got to be the scariest language.
Some of this stuff is like classic horror film, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like dumb American girls, like flat tire,
Too
car
trusting.
breakdown. Yeah. Like, wandering around, like, naive and just randomly going into somebody's house,
And then he gets him a glass of water that's laced with Rohypnol, I believe.
Like, I didn't realize that Rohypnol came in like giant tabs. Like, it was like Alka-Seltzer tabs.
Mm-hmm. And he has a stockpile of them.
Yeah. Well, he is a doctor, I guess.
That's true. He can get it.
Like, one of them like breaks a glass.
Oh yeah, and he
something.
like calls him a stupid.
He like screams at her.
Yeah.
Oh god, it was a little jarring.
Yeah, at that point, although they were already locked in, I guess.
Yeah, they weren't going anywhere.
Anyway, I don't even know where to take this.
It's where like the classic horror film kind of ends, right?
Uh-huh.
And then it is like, what the movie is by the title, right? And so I imagine, this is at the point where just like it's just going to be shock from here on out. Like, this is where you start to learn what his plans are.
And he has the truck driver down there already sedated.
Yeah, the girls wake up. They're tied to a table.
In like an operating room.
Yeah, yep. He's got his own little operating room down there. He's like assessing this stuff. And like, I can't remember.
Supposedly the trucker wasn't a
match. Like,
whatever that means.
I assume it just means that like he was too tall or something, right? So they wouldn't fit well or something. I don't know. So murders the trucker, buries him in the backyard, and then goes out and
finds an Asian
dude. And then he explains to these people what's going to happen.
The procedure that's coming. Which involved cutting, I believe, the knee tendons.
Yeah.
So they can't stand.
Yeah.
So they can only crawl.
Knee ligaments.
Something with the jaw line.
Yeah, he removed their front teeth and then sewed their mouths to their anus. It was a 3-person centipede, human centipede, where their digestive tract goes from the first man's mouth all the way to the third person's butt. And, I mean...
Well, the girl did try to escape. And
one girl tried to escape.
And her punishment was to be the middle. Which is the worst position.
Yeah.
You definitely want to be lead dog in this. Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt. Like, lead dog, you could do some things still.
Yeah. And like, that's a struggle, right? Because the movie was still over an hour 30.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get to this point where, you know, she tries to escape, she doesn't get out, and you learn the real fate of this, and then it actually, you know, happens, right? He does it, and you know, he's got them like marching around and things. Then the movie is sort of that, like he
trains them.
Yeah, he's trying to like train them or housebreak them, and
like whips them.
Yeah, it's torturous, you know, to watch this stuff, but it's just like really gross. It's really hard to fathom, like, and stomach. But
so, who's your dream centipede?
There is no dream centipede. What are you talking about?
What are you, Sydney Sweeney on one end?
I still would not want to be mouth sewn to ass.
Throw
I don't care who it is.
Throw Margot Robbie in the back. I'll be the middle on that one.
The scene though where like the Asian guy realizes he has to crap.
Yeah. Oh,
and he's just like, sorry, it's gonna come.
It's just going into her mouth.
He screams. He screams something like, "Eat it, bitch."
Yeah. Yeah, that was the most jarring scene, I think, when he's shitting in her mouth.
Oh man, it was so bad. Like, there was one point where he's mad at, I think it was the middle one, because she wasn't shitting or something, and so he's like, "I'm gonna give you a laxative."
Yeah, where do you put that laxative?
Do you give it to the first one?
Yeah, her mouth and anus are occupied.
I don't know. You cut up a little piece of her lip and you just shove it in there, I guess. But man, you don't want to be the third person when that takes effect.
Yeah.
What a crazy movie. And like, all right, so the middle of this movie, like he's trying to train him, like they sleep in a kennel like a dog. Mm-hmm. He has him outside walking, which is obscene to think
he's feeding
that,
him
like,
dinner in a bowl as he's eating.
Yeah, dog food.
He's
like, there was just two random girls that somehow found your property, so presumably it's not like so far deep into the woods that it can't be found. So like you just got this shit going on.
Yeah,
right?
if somebody's taking a walk by, they just see this. It would be shocking. Be like, where do I get one of those? What kind of breed is that?
It's very different than the Rottweiler you had.
How much that cost you?
Oh, and then like, all right, so this goes on for a little bit, and you know, it is what it is. Like, there is like the human centipede, I guess, tried to escape when he was swimming. You know, like it didn't really look like it because they can't really move that fast, and so then he like beats the shit out of him with that whip thing, and eventually, like, a couple cops show up.
Yeah, because of the missing girls.
It just, I don't know. It just kind of like you question how quickly they got to it being him.
By the way, I did have written down the poop scene. What he said was feed her.
Yeah.
Feed her.
That's so gross.
In the middle.
Oh, the cops show up and like, yeah, this weird psycho guy, like they get in his house and like they think something's going on, and he's obviously won't let them see anywhere else in the house.
But they do see a giant kennel.
Yeah. You're like, what's that kennel for?
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, no, sorry, get a warrant. And like, they do. He also tried to like hypnol them, and then he had the syringe filled with something.
He was like overpowered, I think, or.
Well, no, he had the syringe.
Oh, he was hitting in like a towel.
Yeah, and then like they're like, "What's that for?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm a diabetic."
Yeah, his insulin.
And they take it from him, set it on his shelf. It was just a like bizarre kind of scene, and it's just like there's no like development on these scenes. Like that interaction is a pretty small interaction in the movie, and then they go get a warrant, and while they're getting the warrant, like, shit kind of goes haywire.
Well, the human centipede was able to grab a scalpel.
Yeah.
And I believe they stab him on the way down.
Yeah, when the doc is on his way down, they stab him in the foot and then like in the knee.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah,
you can't really walk.
so they try and go up this spiral staircase. It's like agonizing to watch because they're so like you can see them sewn to each other, and you just see it like I've just. Part of me is like, why don't you guys just like, as painful as it would be, just rip
the
yourself.
Band-Aid off.
Yeah, rip yourself from them. And even if you have to crawl, like at least then you're not trying to like go, army like left, right up the stairs. It's just bizarre, and
I tried to put myself, what would I do? And I think I'd just rip.
I think you'd have to.
The
Like
face.
I don't think there'd be any way around it. I don't know. They do get upstairs though, which is incredible. And stupidly, that the middle girl thinks like that the window's still broken where she tried to escape.
Oh yeah, where she tried to escape.
So she leads them astray into this room with no way out.
And then he crawls up to them in the bedroom, and the Asian guy
Yeah.
could have fought. I don't understand that. Why this is terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like they tried to do something there, like symbolic or something.
That
like
the guy lived a bad life. He left his kids and wife, and he's like, God gave me this. I deserve this. And then instead of fighting, after he fought all the way up those stairs,
yes,
he decides to slice his own throat with a shard of glass.
Which it didn't even look to be that sharp.
No. And that would be awful.
Yes.
I mean, that annoyed me. I mean, you just ruined it for the two girls on your ass.
Yeah. Yep. The cops show up with the warrant, and they're like searching the house.
Yeah, they bust down the door, I think.
And this hobbled surgeon gets the gun from one of them who I guess evidently drank some of the water with the Rohypnol.
Late reaction. I mean,
Yeah.
How did this injured German little doctor get a gun from a trained police officer?
Yep. And
Again,
then
they don't show that.
Yeah, and then the other cop comes in there, and he's like so like distraught over seeing his partner like in the pool dead. Mm-hmm. He doesn't realize that the surgeon has his gun, and he shoots his gun. It's like the most awkward way to like hold and shoot a gun I've ever seen. Like I'm not a gun owner. I don't think it would. I don't think it would really work. Like there was like no kick, and it was just like he was holding it against.
It against his chest with two.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing ever. And then shoots the cop. The guy's a great shot. You know, shoots the other cop in the stomach or something, who then fires one bullet and like through the guy's head.
That part I forgot. I thought the doc lived because there is a 2 and a 3.
Yeah.
But what a shot by that cop.
Yeah.
Square in the middle of the head.
And that's essentially it. Like then so the cops are dead, the surgeon's dead,
Asian guy's dead.
And like the girls
And the girl on the back end died from an infection or something.
Yeah, the back end died. So like the middle girl is just like left to die from.
That's what I think. Did she die, or I would think the cop? I mean, they left that open, but
yeah, I mean,
I think cops would respond to
you would think
missing police
maybe.
officers.
I guess you don't really know.
Is she in the second one? I haven't
don't
seen
know.
that one, and I don't think we're going to review that one.
Yeah, I just like overall like forgetting about the shock and like the nature of what it was. I just didn't think there wasn't all that much to it.
No, it was a weird thought by the director and writer.
For the most part, I mean, outside of the surgeon guy, all the characters, there isn't much to them. The whole thing, right? You see the girls for a couple scenes before their mouths are the Asian guy is doesn't speak English, and so you don't really understand everything, and subtitles that doesn't make anything fun.
My other thought was the filming. How awkward was it for the actors? Like, I mean, they were right in there.
Yeah.
It's kind of I don't know.
Well,
get to know them real well.
You notice that none of those actors were famous people.
No, they needed that role.
I mean, and that was it. That's just sort of how it ends. Like, it just kind of ends after that. And like I said, like, I don't know. I realized I'd seen it before, but it wasn't memorable enough. Like, I would never have been able to like do a review without having watched it again because.
No, you get that image of your head of the centipede. That's all I remembered.
Yeah.
Really, I didn't. Like I said, I thought the guy died, or I thought the guy lived. I mean, I didn't know he died at the end, but.
Yeah, I did. I did go do some reading, like some research on the movie and stuff, and like there are some like funny things about how it came about. I guess the idea for the movie came from a joke. I guess the guy who wrote it,
Tom Six.
Yeah, I guess he was sitting around and they were joking about. They were on TV. There was something about like some child molester, and they said to punish him, they should. Attach his mouth to the ass of a trucker, of a fat trucker.
Sounds like a conversation we could have.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, there could be a movie in that." The actresses, I don't know if it was all the actors or if it was just the actresses. It might have been the Centipede actors and actresses. I think they were cast in New York. They kind of told them a little bit about it. They didn't tell them like how graphic, and I think they just kind of like gave them a storyboard of what like it would be, not the actual script.
I think they were actors that were desperate for a role too.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure, but they didn't come out and be like, "Hey, for this role, you're going to have your mouth like up against someone's butt."
Yeah.
For hours. You know, they gave every day. The actors, the Centipede actors, got there was a masseuse there because they were on their hands and knees all day. So they had someone to help, like, give them a massage.
What if I assume they didn't eat burritos before. Jesus.
Could you imagine if like one of them like ripped ass? Like, sorry.
No coming back from that one.
Oh man. Oh, what else was there? Like,
it was pretty big. I didn't have a ton of notes.
There was. Honestly, like, I started to write notes, and then I was like, there's nothing. I don't have anything cool to write here.
If you're into shock value movies, give it a whirl. But yeah, the story was just.
The actor who played the surgeon, so I guess he's like a method actor. So he just stayed in character. Like he was like on the set, like he just yelling at people. Like, you
settle down, man. Like, this is you play someone that sews lips to buttholes.
So when Six like tried to get, he had to go get funding for this, with investors or whatever. He just kind of pitched the idea of like a crazy surgeon who sewed people together.
He didn't go into detail.
He left out the details, and I guess they didn't find out until the movie was completed. Which is just insane.
Probably smart that he didn't.
Yeah. I mean, this movie didn't make a lot of money.
But it's pretty well known.
Yeah. It had a small release in theaters. It wasn't like widely distributed, I don't think. It only made a few $100,000 at the theaters. I don't know how many years. I think it was probably a year or whatever it was. And then it was released in DVD, and I think in DVD sales it's made like $3 million, $4 million bucks. And that was as of last year. So, didn't make a ton of money.
Don't think I'd pay for that DVD. I don't know.
No. They hired like a doctor or like some sort of expert.
Can this be done?
To essentially, you remember the plans that you saw in the movie?
Yeah.
Like, to essentially help create those plans.
Watch this doctor lose his mind and goes and tries this.
Like, I don't know if it was like a tagline or if they like put it on like the DVDs or what, but they basically said this is 100% medically accurate, which is a crazy thing to say.
So who's your dream centipede? It's accurate.
So there were sequels, and the sequels were I didn't watch any of them. I didn't even try to find them, but they like Wikipedia had some stuff on the sequels. And the intentions of the sequels were, like, I think the second one was that somebody saw the movie or the footage and, like was inspired, and so then they did their own thing,
Okay.
and it was like a bigger centipede. And I think the third one is even bigger. You know, like I think the third one gets into like hundreds or something.
Inspired by the fictional Dr. Hyder, disturbed loner Martin dreams of creating a 12-person centipede.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh man. There were some parodies. There was a porn parody.
I was going to say there's probably a porn. I was just going to say that.
The Human Centipede. Where they join them mouth to genitals.
Like
which is just every porn.
It's a Friday night in my house. That's a joke.
There was South Park did a episode.
Yes, I remember that.
The Human Centipede. And it was something about like when you accept the terms and conditions, you know, that Apple sends you, you don't read. Like one of the characters got sucked into that. They accepted them, and then they had to do this Human Centipede thing.
It's so stupid. But yeah, it was kind of like a cult classic, I guess.
Yeah. I guess even just as recent in the last couple of years, someone did a musical.
Okay.
In Australia.
How do you sing with a butthole in your mouth?
I think you just mumble. Oh, man.
Oh, so that was the Human Centipede.
I don't know.
Would not recommend, but if you're into the shock.
If you're
horror,
into this kind of stuff, you've already seen it.
Yes. And I'm kind of one of those people, but...
And you had seen it, and you rated it 4.
I did. That's when and I say that was about right. 4 might be high. I don't know.
Well, it depends. Is it 4 out of 5 or is it 4 out of 10?
4 out of 10.
Okay.
I would recommend having a few drinks watching it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I like doing these movie reviews, but they're so much better when there's like funny stuff to riff off of.
Like
we'll
action
keep doing
movies.
them, but yes, the old action movies, or you know, especially like old action movies, because they're funny, but they're not necessarily meant to be funny all the time. And so yeah, they're great. This was just like honestly, like I watched it. So today's Thursday. I watched it on Wednesday. Yeah, I watched it yesterday, and I get home from work and I'm in my office and I just throw this movie on, and it's so like God, like I hope the kids don't come in here.
Who's that dog, Dad?
Yeah, what is that? I don't know. Like if I had just turned it on. I know I watched it before. I must have watched it as like with.
It had to be like an after hours.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like if I had just flipped it on now, like I would not have made it very far before I just didn't watch the rest of it.
So we'll do Schindler's List next. Is it...
No.
So we'll have to. We'll get back to like Stallone movies.
Yes.
But that was. I'm glad we did that one.
Yeah, we could just. I mean, Stallone's great. Like we could just like go down the Stallone catalog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a legend. Arnold's got some good ones too, but
Yeah, all those
like Commando. We've talked about that one.
muscled up. Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Commando. All those muscled up actors from like the 80s and 90s, like their stuff's just so great.
Underrated one. I don't know. Have you ever seen No Holds Barred?
No.
Hulk Hogan.
No, but
That might be the next one. It is so. That was like my favorite movie when I was a kid. He plays a wrestler whose little brother gets like paralyzed by a bar fighter.
yeah.
And he like sets out for revenge. He pretty much plays a Hulk Hogan, but I think his name's like Rip in it or something.
Huh.
Some pretty entertaining scenes.
Speaking of Hulk
1989.
Hogan, I was on
Tubi.
I was on like I don't know, I think this is X or Twitter, and there was a tweet about like it was a joke, obviously. Well, no, the picture might have been real, but like the tweet was meant to be funny, and they're like, here's this, like someone did an AI or an artificial rendering of what they think Moses would have looked like.
Yeah, I think I've seen
And
that.
it literally looks just like Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, the catch was like, let my people go, brother.
Yeah.
Speaking of Hogan, I did get his. George got me his beer.
Oh yeah.
He went to Minnesota. They sell it there. He got 2 cases. 2 cases. Guess how much it was?
Let's see. 1 case of beer today, anyways, is $25. It seems like. I don't know, $35
Per case. You're pretty close, actually. You're good at this.
That's crazy. Though.
$75.
Wow, man. $38 for.
I have not cracked into it yet, but the can alone is pretty badass.
It's almost time to start listening to fantasy football podcasts.
Yes.
That's where I got to get all my information for this podcast.
What if we become a podcast where people listen to our fantasy advice?
Then there's people that have really fucked up in their life.